Well, for more on this appointment, climate concerns and energy security issues, let's bring in Robin Mills. He's the CEO of Kamar Energy, a leading-edge energy consulting company. And he joins me now live from Dubai this evening. As I pointed out, when you drill down on what is, on the surface, for many, a controversial move, you find an oil executive here who has been instrumental in shaping a cleaner energy pathway in the UAE. And that is as the UAE looks to embed sort of the idea of energy diversification in its economic strategy going forward as it looks to a post-oil world. Just explain the sort of background and the context to this story, if you will.
Well, Dr. Al Jaber is a long-time energy executive, and that doesn't necessarily mean oil and gas. He was the founding CEO of Masdar, Abu Dhabi's clean energy vehicle, back in 2006. He's still chairman of Masdar, and ADNOC, the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, recently took a stake in Masdar's renewables and hydrogen business. So, what we're seeing here is a well thought out and long-term strategy of energy diversity, which emphasizes climate compatibility along with delivering reliable and efficient energy to the world. And Dr. Al Jaber has been at the center of that.
It may surprise a lot of people to hear that the UAE, and through the company of Masdar, is actually the second largest renewables investor in the world. There will be skeptics who say it doesn't matter what you're doing, fossil fuels will be the death of us. So just, again, explain for some context here what you are seeing happening in the energy space here in the UAE and around the region, because it's not the story of energy diversification isn't specific to the UAE, and where you see the economic opportunities going forward.
Well, the UAE is a major oil and gas exporter, right? That is a very important part of the economy, as it is for many Middle East countries, no doubt about that. But, from the launch of Masdar in 2006 onwards, the UAE has also been very much prioritizing clean energy development. So it hosts the world's largest single-site solar park. It has a very successful nuclear power program, which is coming online, which is reducing emissions. It has efforts on energy efficiency and energy subsidy reform. It has major efforts on carbon capture and storage, which of course is a key part of decarbonizing the use of fossil fuels. And we see this with the conflict in Ukraine at the moment. The energy transition is not about dumping fossil fuels out of the energy mix hastily without having proper replacements. It's about having a more diverse and cleaner energy mix that includes fossil fuels but used in a responsible way.
Yeah, I mean, the argument here, and in many of the oil and gas producing countries around this region, is that if last year showed us anything, it was that energy security is a major issue, and unplugging the current energy system, they argue, before building a significantly robust enough clean energy system. And let's be quite frank, 80% of the investments last year in the energy space went into renewables, but they still only make up something like 4% of the energy story. So economic and climate progress, the argument is at risk if you don't ensure the energy infrastructure and some of the traditional oil and gas supplies going forward, correct?
Well, at COP26 in the UK in 2021, oil company people were specifically not welcome, were not invited. And then, of course, in 2022, with the outbreak of the conflict in Ukraine, you have every European minister turning up in the Gulf and asking for new oil and gas supplies. So, there has to be some consistency here. Yes, we absolutely need to get to zero carbon as soon as we can, but we also need energy security.
Dr. Sultan Al Jaber will say then maximum energy, minimum emissions. And again, this is a narrative that I hear here and around the region. You continue to invest in your traditional energy supplies, but you do so in understanding that you need to reduce emissions significantly in order for us all to get to where we want to be when it comes to climate change and the 1.5 degrees target. The reduction in emissions, the minimizing emissions, is a very important story, and one that incorporates the idea of new technology, of AI, and the rest. Again, with your experience, just briefly walk us through what minimizing emissions whilst maximizing energy really means.
So if we take ADNOC, the company that Dr. Al Jaber heads as an example, so ADNOC has a program of electrifying all of its facilities. So instead of burning gas on site, it'll have electricity, and that's sourced from solar and nuclear power, so zero carbon at the point of generation. It has efforts on energy efficiency, on reducing methane leakage. It's already would say that it's the lowest leaker of methane in the Middle East, at least. And it has efforts on carbon capture and storage, so making sure that emissions from its processes don't go into the atmosphere, but are stored underground. And however much you talk about renewables, and they're very important, carbon capture and storage is equally an essential part of the story, because it is a key way of decarbonising heavy industry, and a lot of heavy industry, just for technical reasons, cannot run on renewable energy.
I'm going to leave it there. This is a story that we will continue to follow, and we are out of the gate in 2023. November the 30th is the beginning of COP28. It will be a global stock take, a la the sort of significant meeting that we had in Paris, of course, some years ago, and we will ensure that we cover the road to COP28 with the sort of analysis and insight that Robin Mills can afford you. Robin, thank you.